What's going on, guys? Doc Danny here. I want to thank you so much for listening to the PT Entrepreneur Podcast. One of the most common questions that I get is, how did you start a practice in a gym? And because of that, I've put together a course called the Gym PT Blueprint, which shows you exactly how to start, run, and grow a successful practice in a gym. If you're a new PT, if you're a new grad, if you're a PT that's just started a practice in the gym, you're not making more than $12,000 a month yet, this course is perfect for you. It'll teach you how to set it up correctly. It'll teach you how to market yourself correctly, how to sell correctly, how to actually build a true business and not just a little side business that maybe doesn't take you anywhere and change you and your family's life long term. So if you're interested in this model of a practice, guys, head to drdannymate.com/products and you can take a look at the Gym PT Blueprint and everything that goes into it at that location. Thanks so much for listening.
So here's the question. How do physical therapists like us, who don't want to see 30 patients a day, who don't want to work home health, and have real student loans, create a career and life for ourselves that we've always dreamed about? This is the question, and this podcast is the answer. My name's Danny Mattei, and welcome to the PT Entrepreneur Podcast. What's going on, guys? Doc Danny here with the PT Entrepreneur Podcast. And this morning, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a interaction I had this morning at the CrossFit gym where I train and how it applies to our profession, in particular, cash practice physical therapists. So I was at a CrossFit gym this morning, CrossFit Grant Street, which is here in Atlanta. Awesome gym, by the way, if you guys are ever in the area. But as I was training there, we were doing overhead squats, and then we did a workout that was squats, back extensions, and double under. So if you don't know what CrossFit, if you don't know CrossFit terms, like it's just a little conditioning session, right? But the strength thing that we did was overhead squatting. So I caught a guy that was squatting and just pushing his arms really far back because he had really bad ankle and hip mobility. And he was getting some bad advice from another gym member who was just telling him probably something that some other coach had told him that was not really a great idea. So I saw the guy and I said, "Hey man, why don't we partner up whenever we add some weight?" So I helped him out and we worked on a couple things. And it was interesting because he was able to go from like squatting halfway down to squatting all the way down and keeping the bar in a good position. But really, we just kind of helped him kind of mobilize through the position and prioritize some breathing and some pattern stuff. And afterward, he goes, "Man, this is awesome. Where'd you learn this?" And I told him a little bit about Mobility WOD and our practice in Atlanta. And now I wasn't trying to sell this guy anything or get a patient out of this. I just didn't want him to hurt his shoulder because he was getting some bad information from somebody else. So as we go through the workout, he's talking to me afterward, and Becoming a Supple Leopard is on the table. So I pull it out and I start kind of showing him some stuff and just recommend that he gets the book. And he starts asking me about our practice, Athlete's Potential. And he goes, "You know what? I've seen you, man. I've seen you on YouTube. I've seen like videos and stuff that you've done." He said, "I've thought about like reaching out to you guys." And so he started asking me about our practice. Do we take insurance? All the normal questions that we get. And I told him, about us being out of network and that a visit costs $199 a session. You may or may not get reimbursed for that, and just kind of give him some details on what was going on. And when I told him, I said, a visit is $199. You may or may not get reimbursed. It depends on your insurance, which we can check for you. He goes, "Oh man, that's a lot." And I go, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And he goes, "I'm a lawyer." I say, "Okay, cool. So what kind of lawyer are you?" He goes, "I'm a business contractual lawyer. I have a company that does business attorney work." And I said, "All right, well, if I wanted you to draw me up a contract, what does it cost per hour?" And he said, "Well, if you want to work with me, it's $400 an hour." And I started laughing. I was like, so for you to draw up a contract for me, it's $400. And for me to help you not have back pain, to have healthy relationships with your family because you're active, for you to breathe better, for you to move around the world better, for you to avoid, joint replacements and unnecessary imaging, surgeries, injections, $199 sounds steep." And he started laughing. He was like, "That is a really good point." He goes, I didn't think about that. And what's interesting is other service providers, it's very normal for people like attorneys, CPAs, anybody that's in this kind of professional service realm to charge by the hour. Some do, some do not. Some are, it's based on the project, but in many cases there's a fee per hour with some of this work. And what we charge per hour in many cases as cash practitioners, we're kind of on the high side for Atlanta, $199. Most people are usually between like $120 and $150. But compared to a contractual attorney or a business litigation attorney, any sort of legal profession, we charge so much less. And the assumption is that insurance should pay for it. Why? Your insurance sucks, and you don't blame me for that. You blame your insurance companies and the government. And, it's out of our hands, but this is what our time is worth. So if you want to work with us and you want to get these results, this is what it costs. And is it worth it to you to reinvest in your body? But what I want you to do is think about this next time that you decide, this is what my rates are, or I don't know, I feel like if I raise my rates a little bit, nobody's going to come and see me, because a lawyer has no problem whatsoever charging you $400 an hour to write your waiver when people come in to see you. And maybe that stops you from litigation at some point, maybe, right? But you have to think what we do is also really valuable and important. And if you can convey that to people and educate them on, what you do is different and why it's important. We kind of have to fight that uphill battle that insurance will pay for things, but this is no different than personal trainers. I know personal trainers here in Atlanta that charge $175 an hour, and there's no conversation whatsoever because insurance is not going to reimburse that. But just because there's a potential for insurance to reimburse what we do, people definitely want to use that if they can, and they kind of bias themselves. So I was shocked a little bit by the response that I got from this guy. But what's interesting was to see, his response when I asked him, what it is that he charges and what it is that they help people with. Because, if you think about it, you've been able to breathe better, interact with your family, stay in the gym, stay healthy, live a longer, healthier, pain-free life. God, what is that worth, man? What is that worth compared to somebody drawing up a contract for you? What's that worth compared to somebody telling you, whatever some sort of legal advice might be? It doesn't affect your body the way the information that we have can help other people. So don't undervalue yourself. Make sure that you understand what you do is valuable and can convey that to other people, and charge what you're worth.